Hey guys, this is Julian Wong from the Binary Lab, and this video is basically about, it's kind of a retrospective video, kind of like, would I actually ever want to have my old life back? So, as you guys know, my name is Julian Wong, and I run the Binary Lab, which is a trading community, which I actually started 3.5 years ago, which now has over 3,300 people, and um, the main point about this is the community where I actually unite like-minded traders who want to improve their trading skills. And at the same time, up till now, I actually personally run daily webinars that help people to kind of learn how to trade under live trading conditions on a daily basis, 60 to 90 minutes each. Some people know this, some people don't know about this, but prior to coming in to my life as a binary options trader and as well as a teacher, I used to teach something else as well. I used to be a tennis instructor. So my life back then as a tennis instructor, I was self-employed, and I ran programs. I managed some other coaches as well. So I had my small operation going. I ran after-school programs. I ran weekend programs. I ran morning housewife programs as well. So during the good months, money was not bad. Okay, my rates were a bit on the premier side, but I didn't have the opportunity to live my life as other people my age would. So for instance, partying on Fridays and Saturdays was totally out of the question because there would be morning tennis the next day at some club that I have to manage, and then ladies' night on Wednesdays. Well, I couldn't go for that one either because on Thursday morning there's going to be the housewife tennis group. So it's kind of ironic, right? Forgo the ladies' night for the so-called next day ladies' morning. And then one of the things I regretted was, despite not being able to, despite having trained many children, right? I work with kids like most of the time. I'd say 70% of the time as a tennis coach. But I never really had the time. For my cousins, when they expressed an interest in that sport, I wasn't able to help them to improve their skills so that they could get into the school tennis team. And for my own kids, it was only in the last 2 years that I started to train them on tennis. And back then, when I was a tennis coach, I never had time for my own kids, and I felt kind of bad about that. In fact, I felt bad about the fact that most of the time that I ever got to see them during the day was when they were asleep. So for some parents, it's they kind of it's a privilege for them to be able to see their kids sleeping and snoring. But for me, I never really had so much of a privilege to see them awake and kicking or squeaking and stuff. Of course, only during the rain season, then that would be the time. Okay, and then like I said, money was good when times were good, but at the same time, I would always be worrying whether the money would be enough. The money that I put away would be enough to cover the times when the rain season comes. I was constantly also working through aches and sprains. A lot of people ask me even nowadays, let's say if I happen to, like nowadays I like to wear a lot of fancy shoes, and sometimes based on the design, may not be so stable. I might walk and sprain myself, sprain the ankle, but people wonder how is it I'm actually able to walk normally after putting pressure on my joint just after a while. Well, it's because I've conditioned myself for years of just working through aches and sprains and various kinds of injuries. And back then, I was constantly on medication, not because I had any major illness or whatever that needed long-term treatment, but because I just could not afford to be ill. So during the span of time as a tennis coach, I was often working through, like if I felt a cold in the morning, I would, I would be like my own doctor. My cupboard would be already stocked with this medication, that medication, and I would be able to, if I felt a little bit of sniffles in the morning, I'll be taking this medication. If I felt some phlegm, I'll be taking that. If I felt a fever was coming, I would take something else. I'll take some paracetamol. If I had some aches and pains, I'll get some NSAIDs and stuff. So it's constantly a medication. It was not very good, and honestly, my health wasn't very good, and I was overweight as well. Uh, so that's then, okay. And now, on some days, okay, on some days, I earn what I used to in an entire month of a good month back then. And I currently work anywhere between 1 and 3 hours a day. 1 hour would be, let's say, if I'm doing my own training, which is during the webinar with my community. So that time on the webinar is actually my personal training time. I may do a little bit more other stuff, like communicate with my staff and get some things coordinated. So I work for about 3 hours a day max. I get to spend more time with my kids nowadays and be an influence to their lives. And I know this when people tell me that, did you know that your son and daughter is so much like you in this, and this way? So when people tell me that, and then I know for a fact that, wow, I am actually making influence, and I am actually making an influence that my kids want to follow when they're modeling me on something, and that only can happen because number one, they look up to me, and number two, I'm around enough so that they they will even take me as a role model. So I think that's a huge change from what it used to be in the past. With regards to social life, okay, so once a week I actually leave my kids with my parents, and that would be the so-called date day and date day the date day and the date night for me and my fiance, who lives with me right now. And during the week, depending on how we feel, we might go out for some live music. Like after the kids are asleep, of course, might head out for some live music, or maybe to some EDM club, electronic dance music. I love that kind of stuff. Basically, kind of like catching up with the lost years, right? In the past, where for years, 10 years as a tennis coach, I hardly ever actually been out much. And then some nights when the kids are out, and after I finish my trade session, I head out to watch a movie with my fiance as well. Movies and popcorn. That's another thing that I miss so many movies through the years, but now on the other hand, I'm probably watching about 30% of everything that comes out into the cinemas. I'm in the best shape of my life. So I lost 5 kilos. If you watch this compared to some of my earlier YouTube videos at the beginning of this channel, you notice that back then my face was probably a bit rounder and look more tired. I know the eye bags are there because I this week I've been sleeping quite late, so that's why the eye bags are there. But other than that, I'm best shape in my life. I lost 5 kilos from back then. I was 76 kilos back then. I was 71 kilos now. I can do 32 pull-ups, and that's the same as my age, right? I don't. A lot of people say that I don't actually look 32, but I am 32. So I can do 32 pull-ups, right? These ones. I can jump 35 inches high. I can run 100 meters in just under 12 seconds. Okay, and I'm playing a lot of competitive social tennis right now. So nowadays, I'm actually living in abundance versus shortage. I remember how I used to have to discourage my kids or loved ones if they want something. Let's say my kids want a toy, they want to try a dance class, they want to try a gymnastics class, music lessons. Let's say if my parents wanted to try something, some food, or let's say, or whatever, anyone that's close to me wanted something, I would then have to try to discourage them or make them imagine scenarios of failing or not liking something so that they would not want to go through with it. Whereas now, I would say, why don't you just go, try it out, see if you like it. And if you don't like it, well, that's fine. But it's no biggie. I mean, at least we go in, we are able to go in there to learn whether you like something or not. So I think these are some of the things that have really, I spent a while, I spent a while like thinking over some of the points, through yesterday and today as well. Let's say, would I go back to the previous life? Would I go out there and curse and swear in the early morning on when the tollways on the road are packed with other cars just trying to get to the destination, and so am I. And I'm cursing because I know I'm being late for an appointment. I know that someone else is being pissed at me. And I know that depending on how late I get there, I'm going to get paid less. And the long story short, now I have a ability to kind of like create income from the comfort of my home versus having to go anywhere. And it's something that I can do that's totally mobile. I don't have to be in a fixed place. I can be on the move. I can be traveling. As long as it's a fairly decent Wi-Fi with that gives me like at least 15 megabytes of download speed. Download speed and upload speed of about like anything about 5 is decent. That's good enough for me. I can work with that. And well, if you guys are watching my Facebook page as well, by the way, follow me at facebook.com/thebinarylab page. So over the weekend, I just made a post. I said go out and there was actually a post where me and my fiance were out at this nice buffet place, a seafood buffet. So I said in that post that go out there and pamper yourself at least once a week. Okay. When you go out there and pamper yourself at least once a week, that's actually going to remind yourself about why you are doing this. All right, why, if you're also trading with me, and you're making either you're starting out and you've been doing it for some time, maybe you've grown your account, but you've never actually gotten the habit of making regular withdrawals and pampering yourself. It's about time to start now. Why don't you do that? Learn to pamper yourself, and that reminds you that you're not doing this. You're not doing this for fun. You're not doing this for the sake of doing it. You're not doing it to manage a gambling habit, but you're actually doing this because you came into trading because you saw this is a better and quicker vehicle to changing your life through your finances. And with that, make the pampering yourself once a week at least, all right? Be that constant reminder to you to give you that pressure that, in order to keep having better weekends, you need to keep doing well at this and keep growing your accounts, keep profiting, and, keep living this lifestyle. And let's say if any of you are in a job right now, if any of you are frustrated with not being able to spend enough time with your family, your kids, all right, not being able to give them the things that they want, all right, not being able to help out loved ones in need, all right, then keep working at this vision, and I guarantee you that if you just started out, maybe 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, you'll be looking back and thinking that if that was me back then, no, I would never be that again. I would never do that. And when you recognize that, your life will never be the same again, because your life will, after you experience what is the lifestyle that you want. Well, when you pamper yourself for that 1 day in a week, be above what you usually are. Okay, if you're usually eating in the food courts, if you're usually like going out of your house without cologne, spray something on that day. Clean your shoes a little bit so they look shiny. All right, go to a nicer place than you usually do, and remind yourself that this is what you're working for. And this will soon be normal to you. And when that becomes normal to you, you can only aim higher and higher and higher in life. And that is the way that you can reach your full potential. And I hope that, let's say, if you're trading with the Binary Lab or looking to trade binary options with the Binary Lab, that I can help you achieve that goal. Alright, my name is Julian Wong from the Binary Lab, and thank you for watching this video. If you found this video great, and you found it struck some chords in you, and if you felt that there was some message to you that you felt that it's just was just really good and what you needed to hear, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'll deeply appreciate that. Like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. My name is Julian Wong from Binary Lab. Goodbye. See you inside, and good trading.